In this video, I'm going to go over the new missions and interactive scenery from Deadzone Command Protocol's Escalation. Okay, I'm going to be going over the new missions, the large-scale missions, also the interactive scenery in Deadzone. Before I get to that, if this is your first time here, why don't you consider subscribing? We got tons and tons and tons of great Deadzone content. We also have a Discord server, link is below. And also, if you're so inclined, we have a Patreon that helps us. You just chuck in a buck and helps us keep this great channel going. But without further ado, let's get to the interactive scenery. Okay, so let's talk about the interactive scenery and how you generate the terrain. Okay, so what the book says is basically you're going to roll on the table, okay, which I'm going to cover next. And there are 8 different pieces of terrain that you have there, okay? So you can just basically roll 8 times on the table and determine which interactive scenery will be used to make it random. Okay, you may modify this in random generation in a manner agreed by both players. In case of multi-mat games, players may opt to make an additional 8 per additional mat. If you roll a piece of terrain you don't have, do your collection. Essentially, figure it out for yourselves, guys. All right? It's not that hard. If you don't have a burst laser or a defense laser, you don't use that. Use something else, all right? Do whatever you want. This is your game, guys. I've said it from the get-go. If you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you know that we're more figure it out, figure a way to figure it in, than you figure it out, okay? Be smart. Do what you want. You could pick, instead of 8 pieces of terrain, you could do 34 pieces of terrain, 82 pieces of terrain. Every cube can have a piece of terrain on it. Every level can have a piece of terrain on it. It's really up to you. All right? Sky's the limit. Do your game. Have fun with it. Okay, so once you pick the terrain, you got to place the terrain. Interactive scenery is placed after picking deployment zones, but before the strike teams, before deploying new strike teams. All right? The player 1 recon will choose the first piece of the terrain and all this stuff. All right, this is just giving you where to put it, what to do. The ones with the stars are placed at the top of the stack. All those are placed at the bottom of the stack. You can do, like I said just before in the segment before picking them, put them wherever you want. You want to randomly roll for it. You want to do it before. You want to do it after, whatever. Now, if you're playing in a tournament, the TO will set the parameters for this. But when you're playing your own game at home, do whatever you want. Place it wherever you want. You know, we usually roll some dice and put it wherever. And then what we do is you pick your side afterwards. So if you want to be around the terrain, or let's say there's some exploding things, you don't want to be around it, you pick the other side. It's really, really up to you. You do whatever you want. And I got to tell you, man, as long as you and your opponent are cool with it, just do what you can, man. And it's really cool to put it in the game. So now what I want to do, I want to cover what type of interactive terrain we're going to go over. All right, so let's start breaking down the interactive terrain. So now the first thing is a terminal. And the terminal is pretty cool because you can get VPs from it. And the way you do that is a model in the cube may spend a short action to access the terminal. Roll a D8, and on a result of 8, you found the intel. You need to score 1 VP for that. The 8s don't explode, so you know you won't get another roll or whatnot. You know, so it is. Once the intel was found, the terminal is destroyed to prevent the enemy from using it. So now, here's the thing. You have engineers, hackers, or scavengers. Okay, they will discover intel on a 6+. So that's pretty cool that they get a little easier chance of getting the intel. Now, models with the hacker ability roll 2 dice on the terminal. So now if you have a hacker, now there's some mercs that are engineers and hackers. Not too many scavengers. They're kind of rare, but engineer and hacker are a little bit more prevalent. But if you got both, that's pretty good. And then a model with the hacker ability rolls 2 dice when accessing the terminal, and on a 6+. And you get 1 VP for each successful result. So now let's just say, I don't know what the probabilities are. I'm not a math scientist. But here's the thing. Rolling 2 dice on 6+, got a pretty good chance of getting 2 VPs. And then what you do is you destroy it afterwards. So that's pretty cool. That's the terrain working with you. All right, the next one is a satellite dish. As long as the model from your strike team is in this cube, you have it. It's counting as communication relay. That's really good. All right, getting an extra command dice really, really helps. Okay, you got a attack 1. You're almost like having attack 2, but you just can't reroll that dice. I think it's pretty good. Next is the loot crate. All right, I don't know if you're like me. I've ordered a bunch of crazy boxes in the past, and I've gotten I don't know how many battle zones or terrain crates, scientific terrain crates or whatnot. I got a bunch of loot crates, Dreadball Extreme, whatnot, just boxes in general. Just they're all over the place. Now, it's nice because you could use this, but it's kind of like the old-fashioned resin crates or even the little card stocks that came with the original Deadzone. I'm not sure about version 2 because I never got that set. I always did the Kickstarter. But you would open it up and see what's in there. So the loot crate has a model. We'll spend the free action to open this crate. Roll a D8 to see what's in there. You can get a booby trap, ammo, med kit, stimulant shot, or adrenaline shot. All right? So it's just basically like the old items of old, but you just have another set to roll here. I kind of like the resin crates myself, I'll be honest with you. I like those the best. But, you know, if you don't have them and you have boxes like this is a good alternative. And also, it does have some new stuff in there. But in the Outbreak book, there was outline in there too. So you have a chance to use whatever you want. But for this, do whatever you want with it. All right, so anybody getting Star Saga would have gotten the weapons rack. And this is a cool piece of scenery. You can put it up there. If you use Star Saga, you know you need that in certain missions. But it's actually pretty cool because you can get a free action and you search the weapons rack. You roll a D8 and you can get combat blades, ammo, AP ammo, frag grenade, or stun grenade. All right, a lot of shooting stuff in here. A lot of shooting stuff other than the combat blades. You know, not bad, not bad. You're getting a free, free ammo or AP ammo. It's basically a loot crate, but more weapons. So, just something different to use. All right, one of the cool things out of Outbreak, or out of Star Saga, excuse me, was the specimen tank. All right, and some guys I know, my buddy Shane, took out the middle, put some clear resin in it, put some zombies in it. It was awesome. It was kind of like the xenomorphs in Aliens, second Alien movie. A model with make a shoot action against a specimen tank on a successful hit, the acidic contents spill out, and one randomly determined model in the cube must make a survive roll against this. 3/4+ attack at AP1. Alternatively, a model in the cube may perform a fight action to break the tank, affecting the active model and another random model in the cube above. The specimen tank is then destroyed. So you could shoot it and blow it up and something will happen, or you could do it yourself. If you're pretty tough, you think you can take an AP1, the tank's going to roll 3 dice at a 4+. You think you can survive it at AP1? You take a shot at it. It's something cool to do. It's okay. It's okay. This is kind of cool. You could use a specimen tank. All right, one of my favorite pieces of terrain is this, the power plant. The unstable power plant is highly dangerous. If a model causes potential damage during a fight action in the cube, they may push an enemy model onto the power plant instead of causing damage or resolving other weapon effects. Resolve a 5+ stun attack against a targeted model. That's a really, really strong attack. 5 dice, it's 5+, okay? But it's also a stun attack. So that's pretty cool. You throw them into it, you can knock them out or whatever, or you could stun them. It's nice. It depends though. Depends on what you're doing. You want to stun them, you want to try to kill them. Just options there for you. Okay, the defense laser is basically, if you look at it, it is a Strider burst laser upside down. All right, I like the way it looks. And the defense laser, a model in this cube may perform a shoot action, which is a long action, to fire the defense laser. Line of sight is drawn to the model and not the defense laser itself. Each defense laser may be fired once per round per strike team. Defense laser is range 8, AP1, weight of fire 2, and suppression. So essentially, like I said, it's a Strider burst laser. All right, they call it the defense laser. Not sure why, but it's kind of a gun emplacement. You could shoot it around. Weight of fire 2, suppression. All right, if you're like me, you have nothing but tons and tons of explosive barrels. A model may target the explosive barrels with a shoot action. On a successful hit, the barrel is destroyed and explodes. Immediately resolve a frag 3 attack in the cube. That's everybody in the cube. You might be in the cube, you could shoot the cube, whatever. You blow up the barrels. It's actually cool. If you're going to play this mission, sprinkle them all over the place, man, just in case. All right, just in case. Hey, listen, you can't kill a guy. You frag him in the cube, maybe throw him out of the cube, get away from him, whatnot, A lot of cool things that can happen with the explosive barrels. But like I said, I literally have about They come in threes. I have about 30 sets of these. So on the simple fact that we have so many, we could use explosive barrels a lot. Okay, so let's go over tactical asset missions. So these are brand new missions that are in the escalation book. All right, so just like the other ones, if you want to do it randomly, or you could pick whatever one you want, you can roll. We have 4 new missions: the mainframe, stop the signal, arms race, raid the lab. Now, what I'd like to do is I want to go over certain things, because there are certain parameters and there are certain things and limitations, or just cool things that have been added to these missions that you need to know of before you start these missions. So we're going to get to that right now. All right, so the first of the special scenario rules is bombardment. Okay, so what you're going to do is at the end of each round, you're going to roll 2d8s 3 times. All right, randomly determine cubes on the map, and a mortar round is going to land in these, affecting the highest cube in the stack. You're going to resolve at a frag 2 attack in each cube. All right, so basically that's almost like the if you guys have gotten the infestation book, and there was random different types of environmental effects. This is very similar to that, but instead this is a mortar thing. Frag 2, you know, people sneeze at frag 2 because they don't think it's that powerful. But if you get knocked off a stack, if you get knocked into a wall, or if you have 1 wound left and you don't do any survive dice, could be an issue. All right, so if you watch the video with the interactive terrain, we've gone over what hack is. So I'm going to summarize it right here. So basically, you go up to a terminal and you attempt to hack it. If you're a regular model, it takes a long action. Okay. If you're an engineer, a scavenger, it takes a short action. But if you're a hacker, it's a free action. All right. And basically, if a model is in a cube with a terminal, there are no any models in the same cube. They may spend an action to gain VPs determined by the mission. So you're going to look at the mission. So this might be different than interactive terrain. Okay, these are already set. So once we go over the mission, you'll see. But basically, you set up a terminal, you can hack them, and there's no limit to. So let's say you hack it, you move around, then one of the enemies comes in and hacks it, they can get it also. All right, so tactical assets. Now, this is one that I kind of I wasn't too crazy about, but you can make your own decision, okay? The battlefield assets are being fought over are such importance that the orders are issued to secure or retrieve them, no matter the cost. The VP value of all models is reduced to 1 to a minimum of 0. So essentially, let's say, you know, honestly, when you make your strike team, a good percentage of your guys, I'd say over half, are 1.1 VP apiece. All right, so if you kill that model, they're worth nothing. All right, sitting on the objectives is what's important. So in a tactical asset mission, everybody's reduced by 1. Okay, and the real thing is the sitting on the tactical assets. Different way of playing. Okay, this is a way that not so much killing, but more sitting around and doing stuff. I don't know. My thing is too is if you kill everybody, they can't score any objectives, but you might not be able to catch up. So you got to play with it. This is really a paradigm shift in strategy for Deadzone. Time bomb. Okay, so you know both sides are under the pressure to complete the mission with a fixed period of time before their position becomes compromised. So it lasts for 4 or 5 rounds. At the end of round 4, you roll a d8. On a 1 to 4, the game ends. On a 5 to 8, the game continues for a single additional round, and that's it. So you would go 5 the most. Once the game ends, you add up all the VPs determined by the winner. In the event of a tie, the winner is determined by the number of VPs gained through completing objectives, as opposed to taking enemy models out of action. So this is another one that ties to tactical assets, because if there's a tie, it's who is going to gain the most number of VPs through completing objectives. So we're going to go over the new missions, and there are different things that are added to them. So let's go over them, because it'll be more clear as I discuss it that way. Okay, so the first mission is the mainframe. So if you notice, there are 6 T's in the middle. Those are your tactical assets, and you're going to put them in the middle of the board. All right, and it starts off just like a regular mission, but there are some parameters to this. There's some special different objectives or way to score points in here. Okay, so you set up the 6 terminals marked on the mat. They are tactical assets, and it's hack. Hack is part of it. Like I said before about, you know, hacking the terminal, right? Killing enemy models, you can get it. Regular victory points, that's good. Discovering intel, you may gain 1. Hacking a terminal successfully is worth 2 VPs. So having a hacker, engineer, and scavenger will come in handy, all right? Knowing that those missions where, you can bring some beaters to this mission, but what happens is you're really going to get 2 points for it. So there are no objectives, sitting on objectives. You get a Strider or an Aberration, you sit on an objective getting 2 points every round. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to hack these terminals. And, it's good. It's a different way of playing it. It's a completely different mission than, say, Patrol. Next mission is called Stop the Signal. You got the 2 L-shaped deployment zones, and you got 4 yellow cubes in the middle. So what's going on with this? With this mission, you're going to set up a piece of terrain in the central 4 cubes. All right, set 1 terrain piece to represent the transmission tower. Ideally, 1 or more satellite dish terrain pieces. You can set it up any way you want. A model standing in the central 4 cubes at the top of the stack with no enemies in the same cube may transmit as a long action. See below. I'll get to that in a second. The special rules are bombardment and time bomb. So at the end of every round, you're going to roll to see if where the mortar rounds go. And time bomb, like I said before, you're going to wait. It's going to last till round 4, and you're going to have to roll on a 1 to 4. Game ends. And on a 5 to 8, you go to 5. So you got 5 rounds in this. All right. Now, victory points are not used in this mission. Instead, the winner is the player with the most transmission counters at the end of the game. So what is a transmission counter? So transmission, long. A model sends valuable off-world data to be analyzed by the strategist back at HQ. The player gains 1 transmission counter for each time a model transmits. If the model has engineer or hacker ability, the player gains 1 additional transmission counter. Models with beast or vehicle abilities cannot take this action. So, if you have an engineer or a hacker, you get an additional transmission counter for doing it. So now, listen, you take regular guys, they can do it. It's a long action. And here's the funny part. Engineers and hackers, it's also a long action. But they get 2 for it. I don't know. Those engineers and hackers are coming around pretty good. That's kind of cool for a mercs thing. Or, if you have a lot of engineers or hackers, you're doing it for this mission, they're going to come in handy. So that's pretty cool. It's a little different. Setting parameters, I know like hacker should be a free action, but you think about it. For this one, it's transmit. It's not hack. All right? So, everybody gets a long action, but like I said, engineers and hackers, double the pleasure, double the fun. All right. The next mission is called Arms Race. Okay. So basically you have all 8 on each side, red and blue deployment, and you see 4 W's there. And what you're going to do is you're going to place a piece of interactive scenery there. All right. So what you're going to do is set up 4 weapon lockers in the cubes marked with the W's. The scenario special rule is time bomb. So like I said before, it'll last 4 or 5 rounds, depending if you roll on it, and then the game ends. Okay, so you're gonna get, you get two VPs for discovering intel on the board. All right, if you discover a weapon, players gain 1 VP when one of their models finds a weapon from the weapons locker, even if it goes bang. We'll get to that in a second. Firing weapons, players gain 1 VP when their strike team uses a discovered weapon in a shoot action. So that's pretty good. So let's say you discover a weapon and then you use it. That's 2 VPs right there. Model in the same cube as a weapons locker may take a long action to search it. Roll a D8 on the table opposite, which we'll get to see what they find. The weapon counts as a carried item and may be fired while it is being carried. Each weapon locker contains 4 useful weapons. Any 1 to 7 result. Once these are found, the locker contains nothing of interest. So basically, each locker contains 1 weapon that you will roll for. Hey, coach, what are those weapons? Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to show you right now. All right, so if you roll a 1 to 2, you get a riot cannon, which is nice. Range 4, suppression, knockback, 1 use. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. 3 to 4, you get a gamma gun. Range 3, AP 1, toxic 1. It burns, 1 use. Okay, not bad. 5, 6, you get a psionic beam. Range 2, AP 10. Yes, AP 10. Psychic 1 use. Oh my goodness. Psychic Basically, you go no line of sight, going through walls, going through your buddies, going through everything. AP-10, range 2, AP-10, 1 use. Don't give this to a guy with a 7 shoot, all right? Got to get it going. Got to give it to you, one of your bangers there, okay? Number 7 is a grav lifter. Range 3, AP-1 smash. It's 1 use, all right? So it's not psychic, but smash is something good, all right? And number 8, everybody's favorite. The weapon is an unstable prototype and misfires. Resolve, frag to attack in the model's firing model's cube. So the attack in the firing model's cube, basically that's not. It just goes off. It's the old bang. Frag 2 stinks, but you know what stinks about it is you think you're gonna get riot cannon, gamma gun, psionic beam, or the grav lifter, and it explodes, and then it's empty. So. But that's not bad. That's pretty cool. You know, hey, listen, you go in there, you get, these are objectives that are worth 2 points apiece. If you find something, you know, you get in there and you find something, and then you use it, you will get 2 VPs for it. All right. The other way is by killing guys. And you have to do it within 4 to 5 rounds, depending on, because of the time bomb rolls in there. So you got to run up, get the stuff, try to kill a few guys, use the weapons, and do it. This is one of those missions where they're trying to move away from the old stand on objectives and kill each other. This is more of a flavorful or narrative-driven mission. I'm not saying it's good, and I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm not saying I prefer it or don't prefer it. I'm just saying it's different, okay? So it depends on what you want to play. I do like different variety, though, and this is a cool way of looking at it. And it's also a way of using, if you have the terrain, those weapon lockers, like I said before, are really cool. I do like them a lot. So check it out. Try it out. All right, so the last mission is called Raid the Lab, and this is... you know, the full 8 red deployment zone, blue deployment zone, and you're going to put 4 medical cabinets in the C's on the board. All right, so the special scenario rules for this is tactical assets, where, you know, all models are -1 up to 0 if you kill them, and time bombs. So that's your, either it ends in round 4 or round 5. So the victory points are killing enemy models for this mission. You might kill a bunch of them, but it might be 0 points. Discovering intel, you immediately gain 2 VPs for this. Okay. Securing the serums, players gain 2 VPs for each unused serum carried by their models at the end of the game. And then if you administer a serum, players gain 1 VP when their strike team uses a serum, whatever the result. So, okay, you use an unused serum, you get 2 points, but you only get 1 point if you actually use the serum. Now, how do you collect the serums? So to collect the serum, a model must be in the same cube as a medical cabinet with no enemy. Serum counts as a carried item. The model carrying the serum may self-administer it as a free action. Determining the effect by rolling a D8 on the table. After the serum has been used, it is discarded. Models with the construct ability may not use serum. Hey, coach, what are the serums? Well, I'm glad you asked. Here's the chart. On a 1 to 2, you get the raid serum. All models get a +1 dice to all fight tests for the rest of this round. 3 to 4 is a focus serum. Get a +1 dice for shoot tests for the round. 5 to 6 is the nanobot serum. Gains +1 to all survive tests for the rest of the round. 7, reflex serum. Get a +1/+1 to its move stat for the rest of the round. And number 8 is poison. The model takes a wound with no survive roll being made. So if you get the 8, which we all love to get 8s, this one is terrible. Just like in the weapons locker. But like I said before, you know, killing enemy models, they might be worth 0, but it has to happen. You're gonna have to kill a few guys in here, but it's not as important as getting the serums, okay? And there are only 4 weapons lockers, so you got to get that going. Who has the most at the end of the round? All right, let's talk large scale missions. So essentially, this is where you put 2 mats together. Now I don't know if you're like me. I've been playing this for a while. We've been doing it for a long time. All right. You know, you put the 2 together, you make the mission. You could run patrol, you double patrol, you could double seek and destroy. You just you use your common sense. And that's the main thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you play games, you use common sense. Err on the side of caution. Err on the side of fun. All right? There are some other games where you just roll off for it. Just have fun with it. But in this book, we've written a bunch of large-scale missions with rules so you can have fun with it. All right, so the first large-scale mission is called Shock and Awe. So you see the two different deployment zones. If you're going to print this up in black and white, let me just let you know that the circles and the other squares that are filled in, the little grates and stuff, look like an extra deployment zone. We were having a tournament, and guys were asking, hey, do I get an extra deployment zone? No, you don't. It's just that's how it comes out. But this is basically, 4 2-point objectives in the middle. All right, so basically this is a regular mission. You get VPs for killing enemy models, discovering intel, sitting on objectives. Just the usual objective rules. All right, sitting on there. Shock and awe. The only cool thing is you can take a lot more models. So at 400 points, 350 points, I like 400 though. Take 3 Striders. You could fit everything in there, and it becomes almost like a mini firefight. So Shock and awe is the first one. Next mission is called Calling in Reserves. Now, this is a little funky, right? This is where we get a little different. All right? Let's say you are the red player, and you in Recon, you go first. You put half your force in A. Then, the blue one would put half his force in A also. At the beginning of round 2, you deploy the rest of your force. So, red B would put it in because he won Recon, and then blue B would put it in, and then you would go from there. So knowing who's on the table or whatnot, or maybe you come bring them in or trying to save some guys or whatever, there it goes, all right? 2 3-point objectives, 2 1-point objectives. You get the usual standing objectives, killing enemy models, and if you discover intel. I like this one because it takes tactics to another level. Let's say you have to read the board too. Think about it. Let's say you got some snipers, and in the B deployment zones there are some 2nd, 3rd, 4th level terrain. You want to maybe get your snipers in there, and they're already in there. They can deploy in there. Think about that. There's a lot of things you could play with. Your fast units go out first, or maybe you have your slow units out first and get the fast out. Maybe get all the combat units in there and the shooting units later, or vice versa, or a little bit of mix of both. Go to town, man. But the only thing I would say, you gotta try it and do it. Next mission is Domination. So if you look, you have the whole deployment zone, all right, all the way across each one, red and blue. And there's 1, 2, and also 3-point objectives. So if you notice the yellow squares in the middle, all right, so we have 16 squares in the middle that are yellow with 3-point objectives in there. In that zone, no building can be higher than 1 level, all right? So you can get there. So it's almost like that's a building that's smaller, or maybe, I don't know, some kind of intel is there or whatnot that you have to recover, or the mission objective is there, and you got to get in there. So the usual things apply, the VPs, finding intel, and using the 1, 2, and 3-point objectives. Regular mission. I kind of like this one because you could build up towers all around it, build your higher scenery all around the board, and in the middle, only 1 and floor level. So it's pretty cool. This is a cool mission. A little different than the other ones, but still same flavor as our regular original missions. Next one is called Secure the Sector. Okay, you have 2 1-point, 4 2 points, different deployment zone. You just basically got to hold it. So killing enemy models, standing on objectives, discovering intel, whatnot. That's where you could put this stuff in. Secure the sector. This is just a basic hold the objective mission. You want to kill enemies, but there are a lot of 2-point objectives out there. Hey, listen, you sit on 4 2-point objectives. That's 8 points per round. It's not bad. Not bad if you can do it. All right. Reminds me of the other missions too, just at a larger scale. So that is the interactive scenery, the large-scale missions, and the tactical asset missions. So here's Coach's breakdown of this. Use the items any way you want to use the items. Do a double mat any way you want to do a double mat. Tactical asset missions can be used on a bigger scale with the tactical asset missions. With the large-scale missions, you can use the tactical assets or the interactive scenery in regular missions. You can use them in patrol. You can use them in seek and destroy. You can use them in anything. You are not bound by the constraints of this book. All right. Let's say you want to go back into Infestation and you want to look at how the interactive weather terrain would come in, and there was like a frost one, there was a wind one. You could add those in. You can do a large scale mission using tactical asset missions and interactive terrain on top of it. So you can have almost every frickin' cube has something going on in it, okay? You could take the large scale missions and put 4 mats together. Now, I don't know what you have out there, and I'm not speaking for you, but I will just reveal that, and you probably know this from watching the channel, that I have enough mats to do, I have a bunch of Mars for my mats. I have about at least 12 mats altogether, so I can do 6 large-scale missions or 3, let's say, humongous scale missions where you put 4 mats together and you go 1,600 points, or you go 1,000 points, or you go 900 points, or even 800 points. Now, you're talking about a long time. You're talking about almost like Firefight, but with Deadzone. And I'm not against that. But here, like I said before, you're the only thing that binds you is your own imagination. All right? You can do whatever you want. Make your own missions. Change it around. Do breakthrough. If you like breakthrough, do it with a huge mission. Do it with the large scale mission where you got to get across 16 cubes. Oh man, that'd be crazy. All right. Do whatever you got to do. Add parameters, redo move parameters. Hey, if you don't like something, say, you know what? I want to use the defense lasers because I have 4 of them, but I don't want to use the specimen tanks. Okay, cool. You want to use every single piece of terrain that you have. Let's say you have 100 pieces of interactive terrain and you want to use it through the whole board on just a 1 mat board. Go for it. Okay, do whatever you want. Make it as fun as possible. All right. Know that it's going to take a little bit longer. All right. Take some of the tactical asset missions and meld them together. Do whatever you want. I just, when we play, we mix things up a lot. Now sometimes on the channel we go straight Deadzone, but when we play on our own, we might set up a board and play for 3 days, maybe 2 or 3 hours a night going through stuff because there's a lot going on. We'll get back to it. And you know what? Sometimes the break, it's like, all right, I'm here. And start to think, all right, how can I get to it? All right. Now, that's not a tournament thing. That's just a fun thing. All right. And I'm going to get them today. And then, within that day, something happens. And then the next day, you're way behind. But then you come from behind to win, and it's something special. So do whatever you want. I sound like a broken record, but I do mean this. But you got to have fun with it. And if you figure a way that you're doing something that's unique that I maybe haven't gone over, or maybe I didn't say, or just something that you think you're doing for a long time, let me know in the comments below because I really like to know it. And I would like to get the conversation started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that I have revealed a bunch of stuff for you in the book. I think I've gone over everything in the book now. It's been awesome. It's been a blast. We've gone over the missions. We've gone over the factions. We've gone over how to do the mercs. We have a team building exercise up right now that reveals the different things. We're going over escalation in conjunction with these videos. So I really like doing this. I'm glad you stuck with me. I hope that you really enjoyed this video. And if you do, let me know below. And if you don't be a coward and give me a thumbs down and don't give me a comment. Leave me a comment below because I want to improve this channel. I want to make you happy watching it. Also, if you're so inclined, we do have a Patreon, and we've had ups and downs with Patreon, but we'd like to get a few back. If you like to chuck in a buck, if you just are interested in this channel and you like what's going on, this really helps us get new equipment and stuff like that. So chuck in a buck and help us out. Also, the Discord. Get on the Discord. We get about, 10 or 12 people every week coming on, new people talking about it, new friends, and it's just a way for us to talk to you. So it's awesome. I'd love to see you there. But once again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.